Who is ready for the fun to start? We're talking about news today, and there's nothing exciting about it. And I'm going to be frank with you. When it comes to news, I do have a bit of a Word document that I'll read out to you guys. However, when it comes to news for me personally, all I would do is load it up on a morning, and if I see something like this, where we've got CPI and unemployment claims, I just wouldn't trade. So on Thursday, the 11th of September, I would not be taking a trade of any sorts. And it's as simple as that. If I see major news, red folder news, I'm just not going to take a trade, guys. And it's as easy as that. So, yeah. Without further ado, basically this is Forex Factory. I have it pinned right here, along with another stuff. And I haven't used these for years, to be honest. I like the way they look when I click on the folder, alright? It's a bit of a guilty pleasure. But if you load up Forex Factory and you filter, you head to the filter here and you just click on the red filter, you can select every country you want, really. Doesn't really matter. As long as you have this red folder one marked, and I don't see the point. I trade everything other than red news. So I turn them off because they're irrelevant to me. So I only have the red folder news on. You apply the filter. Today is Sunday. There is nothing on. But like I say, if you skip to the 11th, then you can see all the red news available on that day. Therefore, I simply wouldn't be trading it. So Forex Factory is the best for it. In my opinion, it's quick, it's simple to use. If you really want to get into understanding news, there is plenty of websites here you can use. A lot of them are subscription based. So if you're really into that and want to actually pay for a subscription base, then there's a couple on there that are popular ones that you can use to do all the fundamental research you would like. However, personally, I load up Forex Factory. I see if there's any red folder news out. If there's not, happy days. If there is, depending on the amount of it, such as CPI, then I just wouldn't trade at all. Now, I'm going to go through a few descriptions with you. In this red folder news Google document. As you can see how fun this looks. Basically, I'm just going to be reading this out. This will be a document in the next lesson, so I believe it will be lesson 12. I will just make it a document that is this copy and pasted into it, just if you want to copy and paste it for your own good, or if you want to make some notes on it, I will just read it out to you guys. And we can go through it together. But like I say, I'll just be reading what's on the paper. So let's get started, shall we? What we have is FOMC, NFP, CPI, and GDP. These are all red folder events that we want to be avoiding. So if we see them on Forex Factory, I won't be taking a trade. Now, the general rule of thumb is when the news comes out, you give it 30, I know it says 15 there, but let's call it 30 to 60 minutes. Wait for the news to quote unquote pass. Once the news has passed, then if you get a setup, you can take the setup and you can enter the trade. But like I say, personally, I don't take any sort of trades. Non-farm payrolls, why avoid massive price swings in very short time frames? You'll find this with a lot of red folder news. I mean, it's quite clearly a common thing, and that's why we avoid it. Core inflation data alters interest rates expectations. Similarly, avoid or trade very cautiously. Again, price likes to move about. It's not very set in stone what price is going to do. So just, again, be cautious with that. And again, applies for all four of these. And then GDP, I mean, why avoid market moving surprises possible? Again, very random. So yeah, with any of these, if you do want to be that guy and trade it, then do give it 30 to 60 minutes for it to sort of calm down in a sense. It's not always going to calm down, but 30 to 60 minutes is the general rule of thumb, where it's like, the news has happened, the big trades have happened, now you can, if you have a setup, take it. But like I say, it's just safer just to see it, realize it, and not take a trade. What is FOMC? The FOMC decides on monetary policy mainly by setting interest rates. Lower rates encourage borrowing and spending, helping the economy grow, which is good stuff. Higher rates, borrowing more expensive, and it helps slow inflation. Why does it matter? Their decisions affect loans, mortgages, credit cards, and business costs. The stock market, bond market, and currency markets all react strongly to FOMC announcements, hence the 30 to 60 minute rule. The FOMC is like the driver of the US economy's car. If the economy is going too slow, they press the gas, lower rates. If the economy is going too fast, they tap the brakes and raise the rates. So it's all very put out in a simple matter. Like, if you want to know more than this, there is more than the stuff articles online. I personally am not qualified to give you that information because I do not know, and I do not trade news. Any news that is out, like I say, I just avoid it. So I'm sure there's many people that can give you a better description than I can. However, this is just what I know, and this is what I can read back to you. But if you want a proper detailed explanation of what these things are, if that's what interests you, then personally, I can only give you so much. I can, if you give me a message personally, I'm sure I could do some research for you. However, in terms of news and fundamental side of trading, if you're into that stuff, unfortunately, in this space, it will have to be a lot of you doing the research on the fundamentals. But I'll give you every single technical that you will need. So moving on, what is NFP? NFP is non-farm payroll, a monthly report published by the US Department of Labor, released on the first Friday of every month, shows how many jobs were added or lost in the US during the previous month. Non-farm means it excludes farm workers, government workers, private household staff, and non-profit employees. What does the NFP report tells us? Job growth. Are businesses hiring more people? Unemployment rate. How many people are out of work? And wages. Are salaries going up or down? Why does this matter? Strong job growth equals a strong economy. A weak job growth equals a slowing economy. The Federal Reserve, FOMC, often uses NFP data to decide whether to raise or lower interest rates. Traders pay close attention because the report can cause big, fast market moves. In simple terms, NFP is like a monthly health check for the US job market. If more people are getting jobs, the economy looks healthy. If few people are working, the economy may be in trouble. CPI, Consumer Price Index, is a monthly report published by the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. It measures the average change of prices of a basket of every goods and services like food, housing, transport, clothing, and medical care. Basically, it shows how much the cost of living is going up or down. What does it show? Well, if CPI is rising, prices are going up. Inflation, if CPI is falling, prices are stable or dropping, aka deflation. So why does it matter? CPI is the main way to measure inflation in the US. High inflation hurts households. Everything costs more. The Federal Reserve watches CPI closely when deciding whether to raise or cut interest rates. Traders and investors react strongly to CPI numbers because they influence Fed policy. In simple terms, CPI is the price thermometer of the economy. Rising CPI equals the economy heating up. Inflation, falling CPI is the economy cooling down, deflation. And last but certainly not least, GDP, gross domestic products. It's the total value of all goods and services produced in a country during a specific period, usually measured quarterly in the US. Think of it as a scorecard of the economy. It adds up everything businesses produce, consumers spend, and the governments invest. So what does it show? GDP tells us how fast the economy is growing or shrinking. rising GDP, businesses are producing more, people are spending, and the economy is growing. Falling GDP, less production and spending, possible slowdown or recession. Why does it matter? Well, GDP is the broadest measure of economic health. Strong GDP, higher confidence, more jobs, and more investment. Weak GDP, slower growth, fewer jobs, and sometimes recession. The Federal Reserve looks at the GDP trends to guide interest rate decisions. So to finish it all off in simple terms, GDP is like the report card of the US economy. High grades, rising GDP, the economy is doing well. Low grades, falling GDP, the economy is struggling. So like I say, guys, that's basically the be all and end all of the news. You don't really need to know much more for this strategy. However, if it is of personal interest to know more, there's plenty of information, free information about that you may find. And like I say, if you want to know more on this and you can't really find what you're looking for, if you give me a message, I'm sure I can try help to see what I can find and see if I can help you guys out as well. Like I say, if you get this Forex Factory and you filter the red folder settings, then please just look out every morning. I will post every morning if there's news. Just look out every morning just for the red folder news. Try do it yourself just to get in that habit of not needing someone to fall back on. So try check it yourself. But like I say, I will be posting it as well as my analysis in the group every morning. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it sort of made sense. I mean, like I say, I will copy and paste this so you can go back and have a little skim read through. I just wanted to bullet point it because I'm not the most qualified on the fundamental side of it. So I thought I'd do some bullet points, put them together and just read them back to you. And then in the next lesson, it will just be something that you can go read in your own time or copy it and add to it or do whatever you like, basically. So yeah, hopefully that helped. A little more in the understanding. It might have been a bit quick read, but like I say, I'll give it all to you in the next lesson anyway. So thank you very much.